What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News earlier than usual, but we are here. Glasner spoke, and we're looking forward. We're looking forward to the QPR game, so we thought, why not? Let's jump on. Let's see all the latest with Palace, including Glasner's comments. As always, if you do enjoy the stream, make sure to get involved by leaving down your thoughts in the live comment section and the comment section down below. Like, subscribe. Algorithm. That's the simple words to help the algorithm out. If you can contribute, if you do enjoy the content by leaving a like, that'd be much appreciated. As it's earlier than usual, I expect a lot of people to watch on replay, so it gives a bit of time for people to catch up during the evening. But T, how you doing, man? You wasn't in the match preview, so I thought it might be good to talk to you about the QPR game, as well as include Glas's comments. But we also didn't speak to you after the Leicester game. How you been?
Man, crazy weekend, man. I didn't even get to really watch much of the Leicester match. If I'm being quite honest with you, man, I was able to keep track with the score and check in every now and again, man. But I was doing family stuff, nearly having a heart attack when I saw that we went down 2-0. I'm like, what is going on, man? But then
You have to refresh it to make sure, like, is this actually correct?
it's like, wait, what? No, but I did get to go back and watch the full 90 yesterday evening and stuff, and great fight from us. But man, I would appreciate if we didn't put ourselves in that situation to begin with. But
yeah, we spoke about it in the QPR match preview. If you haven't already done so, make sure to check that out after this ends. It is pinned in the comment section, so you can go click on the link and it'll direct you straight away to that preview. But yeah, I mean, the defense was the main concern we spoke about in the preview, in terms of like what is going on around him. And yeah, it's just been a bit weird defensively. But then again, in the QPR game, you would expect there to be, I don't know. In the Norwich game, we had kept a clean sheet. In the QPR game, I'm expecting a clean sheet, but it's just individual mistakes has pretty much cost us rather than the system. But also, quickly, before we talk about Glasner's comments ahead of the game, it's good to see the manager already adapting and changing the formation when needed. When I was watching Tottenham yesterday against Arsenal, you can see Postecoglou's got one system, and that's the only system he plays with the same formation. But Glasner already, not only just in the Leicester game, which he changed it about and it did work out, but in games previously as well, he's not scared to go potentially two up top and change the formation and go four at the back, which is good to see, T.
Yeah, which is you like that type of pragmatism from your manager, knowing what's necessary and how to go and get that victory, or that in this situation that comeback that led to the draw. It's all about analyzing the game and seeing what's needed, and seeing what needs to change. So, I'm sure there's going to be times where we just change personnel and we keep the same, overarching formation of system, and maybe certain tactics within the system change. Or there'll be times similar to Leicester where you're going to see not only changes made to the personnel, but to the overarching ethos of what we're doing with our tactics. It's like, okay, we're gonna switch to a four at the back four to be more attacking. So it's good to see that we have a manager that is going to go for it. You know what I mean? And it kind of lines up with what we're going to talk about today a little bit with what we heard from him in speaking about the cup matches too.
Yeah, you know what? Let's get into that. And as always, get involved by leaving down your thoughts and your questions. Put a Q and a dot before it, and we will answer it after we speak about Glasner and the game, probably during it as well. If you have any questions related to the game, we'll be answering it as they come through. Let's go over and check out Glasner's comments. And he said the following. He said that we will take it seriously in terms of the QPR and the cup game. We want to go through to the next round. I mentioned after Norwich that we play in the EFL Cup to win it. I don't know if it will happen, but it's an all or nothing game, and we like those games. T, that is so refreshing to hear from a manager. No excuses. He's saying, look, I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Not that we're in this cup just to go past QPR. We're in this cup to win it. That's his mentality. And we've been missing that, man. It's so important to have a manager that takes the cup competition seriously, and you can see it by his words and even his lineup against Norwich, and now we'll see against QPR that he genuinely means it. And that's like, it makes me so happy that tomorrow I know we'll be putting out a serious lineup in order to win the game rather than increase the rotations because the manager takes it seriously.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, in I don't know. I guess it's my mentality has always been with anything, especially when it comes to athletics, is if you're playing in something, if you're competing in something, you're in it to win it. It's not just you're not just there to just because you're there or just because it's something that you're supposed to do every year. No, if you're gonna play in it, you're gonna play to win. You know what I mean? So it's good to hear that he has that mentality. You know what I mean? In years past for us, that hasn't seemed like it was a focus or a concern for other managers. Um, and this is a reason why we've developed the depth of our team the way that we have, so that we can compete at a high level in all competitions. We're not saying you're not going to hear us saying in press conferences that, oh well, we got to focus on whoa. I guess I guess StreamYard just shut down. What?
What happened?
Patrick donated $10 in the whole.
Did it crash for you as well?
Yeah, it completely reset for me.
Oh, jeez.
And I
Sorry
thought
about that, people.
it
If
was,
you're watching a replay and we disappeared, yeah, we
what are you?
truly did disappear. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
no, but picking up where we left off, just
Yeah,
go straight from there. I was saying,
what on earth just happened?
we've got squad depth that has led us to a point where we're not saying, oh well, we're short in the team and we don't have a lot of guys and we need to focus on the league. No, we got plenty of depth. We've got young guys that can be uh put in to contribute if we need them to too. Let's go and get this. Let's go and win, because the fact that if we compete at a high level in these cups, we're going to see that European place that we've been beckoning for and yearning for so long as a club and organization. Shout out to Patrick. I think
Yeah,
Patrick. I
exactly. I was
honestly
going to
think
mention the super chat.
I
Yeah, I was
think
waiting for
I
that. I
think
didn't want to cut you
I think your $10 super chat might have shut down the whole system, brother. Big baller. I mean, this is what
off. I've
happened when you
never
just
seen that
throwing
happen.
money around.
I've seen the dropouts here and there, which is very
Mm-hmm.
unlikely. But two people dropping out, yeah, it
See,
was
that
crazy.
just lets you know it was something with the system and not with our actual
Yeah,
individual
exactly,
connections. I thought it
exactly.
was my individual connection, but when I came back and saw that everything was shut down,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, we're back. We had a 30-second break. We are back. But thank you for the feedback, Patrick. As well as always, if you are enjoying the content, people, you can also support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing if you're new to the channel. It helps us out massively. Every like, every subscription has helped us get to where we are today. So thank you to every single one of you for that. But T is also another big thing that he's talking about taking the cup seriously, but he's
Yep.
actually a winner.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most encouraging thing about it. When
Yeah.
you're looking at the Carabao Cup this season, of course, we'll see what happens tomorrow and the draw, but it should be a competition, especially because when it comes to the FA Cup, I think the FA Cup is a bit more difficult because of when the final is played. The Carabao
Mhm.
Cup, you see the final played around Feb, I believe, the
It's
second
like
one.
late January, early February. I want to
Yeah,
say. Yeah.
exactly. So around that time, you see teams that's still focusing on the league, especially the bigger teams, even though the bigger teams tend to win the Carabao Cup. But it gives us the opportunity. But let me further go on to his quotes. And he did add that we can beat QPR now. This is his words. But if we don't perform on our top level, we can also lose there.
Yep.
This is a championship team playing at home. So we have to be ready. It's now to recover and find the top fit players who are ready for the third round of the Carabao Cup. So he's not deluded by the thought that, we're facing a championship side, it's guaranteed to win. He's also saying that there's a reality check that we can't be complacent because they are playing at home. And he did the last bit was the biggest thing, that he's talking about looking at players who are fit, top fit players who are ready to play this game. He didn't mention anything about rotated squad.
Exactly. And do we probably expect some rotation? Yes. But do we expect an extremely strong first team squad? Yes, also. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Teta gets to the starts from the bench, and maybe Nketiah starts up top, and you see Ismail Assar get a start in there as well. Maybe some rotation in your midfield, where maybe Hughes gets in alongside somebody like Decore, or no, Decore's hurt, so maybe it's Hughes and Lerma. Who knows? Because maybe Wharton needs the break. But yeah, I would expect to see some rotation within the squad. But at the same time, I'm still expecting us to be very, very strong with players that could go out and get a win.
So how do you find the balance then? And get involved as well in the live comment section. But how do you find that balance between playing a strong team and also potentially bringing in one or two players? Is there any players that you would change? Because spoke about in the match preview, but it's also to speak about with the chat. I know some of you already left your comments in the match preview. Thank you for that. But Sar's being one of those players that's been mentioned. The question is, if you play Sar, then who do you drop out? I've seen some people suggest that Mateta could get a rest in this game and Keita starts up front. But where do you stand with the rotation / strong squad argument? Because these players are still good enough, you would expect to beat QPR.
Yeah, I think the feeling I think that came to mind for me when you brought up the question is refreshing, because I feel a lot more confident in what we can produce on the field, even with rotating our squad, because the drop off between those guys that, for instance, the team that we put out against Leicester versus the team that we put out against QPR tomorrow, the drop off in quality will be so much less than what we've seen in the past. So, am I confident in us putting JP up top? Of course. Am I also confident in us resting JP and playing Nketiah up top? Yes, absolutely. What that does by moving Nketiah out of that right number 10 role, which he started in, you bring in Kamada, who we've seen start multiple matches for us already. Do I have confidence there? Yes. Does Eze start? Maybe so. If not, do you slide Kamada there and then bring Sar in opposite Kamada? I have confidence there. Lerma and Hughes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's refreshing, the fact that you can talk about these changes and these substitutions, and you understand that the players that will be coming in, the drop off, if any, is marginal compared to significant.
Yeah, and we really haven't had this till now.
No.
It's getting promoted to the Prem. Which is, we saw it in the second half against Leicester. Some of those players that came on, it was like they're not coming on for the sake of, the player that's on the pitch already is not working out, let's just swap it over. No, this player that's coming off the bench, he's actually good quality, whether that's Kamala, whether that's Sar, and you can see that the impact that they've had. The bench, in a way, with Sar coming on. I know Nketiah ran onto the ball and caused a bit of trouble before the penalty happened, but it was Sar getting into the right position at the right time to win that penalty. So yeah, we've got genuine players that were sitting on the bench against Leicester that we could start in this game. So for me, I mean, with the goalie, I think Henderson gets a rest. That's normal with Turner at a football club. I don't think anyone really argues that. Let's see. Well, I mean, T, would you be against that?
I mean, I wouldn't argue it, no.
Because it makes sense. If Turner is going to play, surely he would be playing against QPR in the cup game.
Yeah, and I mean, and once again, like, I think the nice thing, and this is debatable, and I'm sure other people have this a different feeling about it, but the reality is we are lucky enough to have a backup goalkeeper that is a starting national team goalkeeper. So, you got a guy who's played at a high level played for some really good clubs. Like that's a luxury that not a lot of clubs have.
Yeah.
So, I think it would make sense. I, I wouldn't be surprised to see that rotation. But at the same time, if it didn't happen, so be it.
Yeah. Let's go to Tim's comment, and he's saying I'd rest JP, Ty, and Munoz. We'll talk about JP. We already kind of spoke about him, but let's talk about the defense. Well, Tyreek and Munoz, especially
Hmm.
Mitchell, can we
Hmm.
afford to rest him?
And that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Because I think if you rest Ty, then the obvious replacement would be Franco Ume in this situation, who
Or
has
Schlupp?
kind of been, or possibly Schlupp. But
But then,
I don't know.
if you want to take the competition seriously, this is what I mean by rotating and still having a strong squad.
Mhm.
With the left wing back position, I think is a bit more difficult because of the options that we have there. And we spoke about it all summer long that we need to have depth options at
Mhm.
left wing back, which we didn't. We didn't focus on that area. We didn't improve on that area. So I don't know when it comes to especially Tyreek in this case. I don't know if it's as easy as saying, "Oh, drop Ty and play someone else."
Yeah.
I mean, Schlupp, to me, that's kind of a big downgrade. But then again, it's against a championship side, so it
I
could
mean,
work out. And he hasn't been playing as much.
I
Maybe
think I'd be
Ume
less
could be wild
comfortable.
shout, but I don't know. I feel like there's a drop off there in terms of the
Yeah,
quality. I
there
feel more
is.
comfortable with Kamada starting or Sar starting ahead of whoever player up there
Mhm.
than I don't know, like a Schlupp starting ahead of Mitchell, especially with the width that we need if we're playing three at the back.
Yeah, I think the worry for me would be in resting both in this situation.
Hmm.
I think resting both is a bigger risk than maybe one or the other. In this situation, I think the less risky to rest is probably Munoz, because at least if you bring in a guy like Nathaniel Klein, you have a level of comfort and understanding of what you're going to get from Nathaniel Klein. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Which
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there's a little bit more balance there. Um, because if you for instance, if you either way, I think honestly, if you replaced Mitchell with either Schlupp or Ume, you're going to lose a considerable amount of defending and ability to defend. That's just the reality of it. I don't think you lose that as much with Munoz over with Klein over Munoz.
Hmm.
I think you
But
lose
that's the
some
problem, though.
attacking acumen,
See,
but
see, when you speak about losing that defense, right now the
mhm,
defense has been the issue, especially down that left hand side. So if you're talking about that left hand side getting weaker in this game, which we survived well against Norwich,
right,
but we still played Mitchell in that
right,
game. Yeah.
right.
So I just don't see it happening. And this is more down to the club. I mean, as it was a great window at the end of it, but it wasn't a 10 out of 10 because we still could have, improved the left wing back option. And this is what it comes down to, not having enough depth there. I mean, Schlupp did come on, but I do think Mitchell will be starting. And have you seen Glasner's comments about Mitchell? About him wanting to
Yeah,
improve and
wanting to be
be very
better, wanting
happy.
to improve. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he
Hmm.
watches videos and he knows the work on his crossing, etc., and the positions to get at. What do you think about Mitchell's? I mean, now we can have these conversations on the 16th of September because, as I've said with these Palace News episodes, is a bit quiet, so we can have general chat and the chat can get involved as well. But what do you think about the focus on Mitchell from even non-Palace fans saying that he's not good enough in attack?
You can say that, but he just got another assist. You know what I mean? Like
That's a
he's
confusing
getting,
thing.
and the thing he's getting the output that you want from your left wing back. Like he's getting assists, he's getting goal contributions and involvement. Now, I think the thing is just some of the optics and the way that it comes across and it looks. And I think this might be the reason why he took the time to address it. You know what I mean? Why Glasner took the time to talk about it, because it is something that people have been talking about. But he's been doing pretty well. Um, I can say that there has been a huge, like, I don't think anybody can disagree with the fact that he has shown unbelievable improvement to his game when it comes to his attacking abilities since the change from Hodgson to Glasner, because I think that when that change was made and we knew that we needed to have attacking wingbacks that could, hold the width and play out there, everybody thought that it wasn't going to be a fit for him. He wasn't going to be able to do it. But he's done a pretty good job to this point. So, and it's just good to see that he's continuing to want to develop, to ask questions, to do film study, to want to improve himself. So
Yeah. With, I mean, I'll say my point. Hold up. Let me just hold it. Let me just go through some of the comments. Tim saying, think we need to think long term about Ty. We're renegotiating his contract now. Tim, that's already sorted, by the way. He signed I believe he signed a 3-year deal at Palace. So he's signed a new contract. So I don't think we're renegotiating.
I think he's good until 28.
Yeah. So that's already sorted. I know there were talks about him having a year left, but that was confirmed over the summer. That it happened behind the scenes. Ab saying, I want a cup run, so the strongest 11 possible, please. By the way, if you have sent in your questions, I've seen 2 questions. I've pinned it. We're going to go over them individually. If you have any questions, put a Q and a dot before it as well. Does anyone remember Plymouth last year where we almost lost? Yeah, there is that as well. So we have to be taking it seriously. But then again,
you got
he was our manager for that game. Yeah.
Yes, also.
We'll leave it there. But my point that I just quickly, whilst we're talking about Mitchell, is I was thinking about this yesterday night. We've entered a phase in our squad now where the starting 11 is pretty much sorted. I mean, we even going into the summer window, we didn't really need to focus on any of the starting 11 positions. It was more about depth. And the depth areas, we're nearly there as well, T, which makes me think slowly we're going to be looking at the starting 11 and thinking about areas of improvement. Is Mitchell, the left wing back position, when you're looking at this team right now, the next position to improve on in terms of the starting 11 to take us forward in Glasner's system? As harsh as that might sound.
I guess you could say yes and no. I think it's the position that we definitely want to add to because we want to have competition there. Right now, it's the position that has literally no competition for him at all. And so we're not necessarily,
because I was thinking about when I'm looking at this team, I'm looking at the centre back options. Of course, by the way, if a player does leave, then that would be the priority. But I'm talking about in general right now. I think right wing back, we're sorted. Even left wing back, we're sorted. I don't think Mitchell's a bad player, but this is the problem now, T, because yes, we do need to improve the depth there. But I think sooner rather than later, we are going to enter a phase where it's going to be a case of, cool, we do have the depth there. But what next with this squad? Yeah. How do we bring this squad forward? And I'm looking up front. If Mateta stays, then that's great. As he's there, we signed Nketiah as well, so we'll see what happens with that. But as a number 10, we've got Kamada. It just makes me think potentially you could be another number 10 down the right hand side, or left wing back. I think we're entering that situation now by looking at some of these positions and saying where can we improve next, because there isn't that many positions to focus on, even in terms of depth.
And the thing about it is, with what we want to be as a club, as a squad, if you want to be a European caliber club, you have to have competition at every single outfield position at your club. You need to be too deep. You need to have guys competing for playing time, competing for appearances. You have to have it in order to be that caliber of club that's going to be able to compete at that European level. And as you look at our squad and you look at all the areas, we have it in the majority of places to this point. And now it's just those glaring places of the left wing back, and even what you could say a right wing back too, with having guys that are legitimate caliber that can be competing for those positions. Because, when we're in situations where we're playing against teams, we're going into it where we're playing against a team that's going to be playing a low block, that's going to be giving us the possession that we're going to have to break down. Maybe it's good to have a wide option other than Ty, who's going to be good with the ball at their feet, that can attack guys 1v1, that can put in the right types of passes in a possession controlled game. So you
Yeah.
have that option to go somewhere else. But then when you're playing against a team where you need to be more defensively solid, you can pivot and be able to play a guy like Ty, who's going to give you all you need defensively, but then at the same time can whip in the ball from out wide, can play on the counter a little bit for us. So you just want to be able to have that type of overall depth on your team to where you got guys across all positions that are competing.
Yeah. By the way, people, if you haven't already done so, please hit the like button. Let's check the like count right now. I think we're in 28. We're in 28 with nearly 60 people here. I know we could hit 40. So if you haven't already done so, please, 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 if you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's go through some of the questions before we do wrap up. Let's start off with Mukhtar saying, what's the latest on Decora's injury? I believe Glasner mentioned it in his post-match press conference. He did say that it is a toe injury. So
Toe injury. Mm-hmm.
yeah, nothing muscular, so hopefully he shouldn't be out for too long. We'll see if he's fit for the QPR game. Andy's saying we all talk about and agree left wing back and right wing back needs support, but who's out there that we can afford? I mean, the window's closed right now, so I don't think.
Shoot, if you
It's a bit
wanted to
early
talk about
for
affording
transfer.
and getting depth, there's free agent wings that are out there that you can just pick up for depth. But every year is different. I mean, when you go into the next window, I mean, who knows? I mean, there are guys out there that you can get and that you could probably afford. So
Yeah, probably around November time we can talk about transfers a bit more seriously, depending on who's available, who's on form, who's out of form, situations. Like it's hard to say right now because the transfer window just literally closed. But yeah, it is an area for now, up until January at least, that we can't really improve on unless we sign a free agent, which I don't think we will be doing. Evil saying, could it be that we've been found out tactically? Every team just sits deep against us and scores and counters. Now, this is actually a very good question. I don't think we've been found out tactically because we still, you look at the second goal that we conceded against Leicester. I don't think that's tactics. That's just poor defending.
that's just a mistake. That's
Yeah.
that's a that's not down to how we're playing. It's not down to what we're doing as a squad tactically.
And Glass has mentioned this as well. He did say that he doesn't think it's down to the system because we're not getting outrun in defense. We still have numbers there. It's just about individual defending. And to add to that, he did say that Gahey has trained more for England than he has with Palace since he's been at the football club due to his injury and not being available towards the end of last season for the majority of the time. So I don't think we've been found out tactically, but I think there's a good question to ask on top of this. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think, T, when we're facing sides such as Leicester or like a Brentford, do you think it might be worth changing the system to play four at the back and go a bit more attacking? Because we've seen it with Thomas Frank and what he does with Brentford when facing the bigger sides and playing five at the back, and it does work, but he doesn't always
Mm-hmm.
play that. He does change it up when it's sides that he expects, you know, that have a chance of winning. And there's them two primary formations for Brentford. Do you think we could be seeing that with Palace sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think part of it, like once again, is just having the guys at your disposal to be able to make those type of moves as well. Which is, now that we've had the window closed, you've added a lot of guys that can give you that position of versatility to where you can pivot to something that works a little bit better. Um, I think it depends on the opponent. I think it depends on the amount of time that we've had in training to implement those things. Um, because I think it's one thing to, pivot to a four at the back for a short amount of time to just be ultra attacking. You know what I mean? As compared to starting a match at four at the back and trying to play it for 90 minutes and make it work.
Yeah.
I think, time on the pitch and training matters. Just like you said, Gahey's had more time with his international training than he has with our club. So um, it's also a level of comfort that comes in within the system as well. But the fact that we know that we can do it, that we've seen it, and that you have a manager who's willing to make the change shows that we have the ability to be dangerous in a multitude of ways, which I think is really important.
Yeah, yeah. I think it is a very good question. Thank you for that, Evil. Sib saying, would you start Ume? Kind of already spoke about this. I'm not against it, but I'd prefer Mitchell to start.
I'm not against it at all. I guess my thing, Sibs, is if we start Ume, then I hope that we also start Munoz. I wouldn't want us to start Ume and
Klein.
Klein together.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I'm
balance is
saying?
gone because
That's what I'm saying.
Munoz.
I don't want us to do something like that.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that as well. I'm saying, who do you think has been our best performing player so far? That's a very, I don't know. That's a difficult question. Maybe because I haven't thought about it. But our best performing player so far in a season where we haven't won a single league game. Let us know in the chat, by the way, what you lot think about this question as well. T, do you
I'll
have
say,
any in mind?
I'll say, I'll say check the Corey.
No, surely not. He hasn't
I
played
think
that much.
check, but he's played really really well every time he's played. That's why I say
Well,
that.
yeah, the second half of the Chelsea game, yeah. I mean, he
Yeah,
changed the game.
I think he's played really really well every single time he's gotten out there. If not, I mean, I think the argument could be said about Ty, about how well he's played for us. He's leading us in assists right now.
But what about Mateta? He scored
He
goals in
started
the Carabao Cup as
slow.
well as the league.
He started slow. I think a lot of people felt like he started out slow because I mean, he had the assist. He had the assist too. So he's at what? He's at 3 goals in an assist this season. So it
Mm.
could be, yeah, that's debatable too. Also, I mean, I think there's definitely a few names that could be thrown out there as far as how well they played all season.
Yeah. Henderson has been mentioned. Eze, Mateta,
Munoz, Munoz has played really well
Twisted
for us.
saying all shit so far to give a bit of, to give a bit of balance. But I don't think that's true. I don't think they've all been terrible. It's just been individual mistakes. I think some players do have to step up.
I mean,
Especially,
Eze's
I
played
think
really
Gay
well. He's just been
started
kind
the
of like
season
robbed
really
of
great.
goals prior to in certain games. Like Eze could have like 3 or 4 goals right now at this point if certain things didn't get disallowed for one reason or another.
Yeah, Patrick disagreed with me, but
What
I'm
about
not going
what?
to change my opinion on the Gay he start to the season so far. Like, there's reasons for it. We can have the reasons, but I don't think he's had a good start to the season at all.
And I
Brentford
don't
game.
think and I think a lot of it's not necessarily his fault to this point.
But
You know,
he's
I think
also
it
said it
was
in the Leicester game, T. He also mentioned in the Leicester game, he said that it wasn't good enough from me today. He has high standards, which he should,
yeah,
because
he knew he didn't have a good match, which is important, and that's why he's the captain because he knows how to take accountability for his own play and his own actions, which is something that you want to see from a guy that's leading your club. You know what I mean? He hasn't had the best start to the season. He knows that. We know that. And like I said, I just don't think all of it is necessarily his fault necessarily because of the way that things have gone with how the season has gone with him in particular, with being injured at the end of the season, which was the beginning of the new manager's tenure, to then only having a few appearances with him, going into a full summer, then playing a significant amount of time with your international club and missing out on training opportunities with the manager that's now in control, to then coming in having all this stuff going on about will he be here, will he not be here, to then being named captain and going forward and playing, like that's a lot to navigate and go through. So I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if we see a continual improvement from him though moving forward.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm 100% expecting that in terms of the improvements and just adjusting back to the back three, which he
Mhm.
hasn't really played much in under Glasner in terms of the amount of games he's played because he
Right,
wasn't here for the majority of last season or towards
right.
the end of last season when Glasner was in charge. But let's go through these questions quickly, people, and then we're gonna wrap up the final questions. Animal saying is Gay he feeling the weight of being the main man at the back. I don't I don't think it's
I
that.
don't
I just
think
think
so. I don't think it's that,
yeah,
honestly.
because it's been well, Anderson was there to support him, but I don't think it's feeling the pressure of being the main man. I just think for the reasons that Glasner's listed, look, he hasn't trained as much. He trained more with England than he has with Palace so far. And also there was lots of conversations throughout last month about him leaving to Newcastle. He just hasn't really had time to settle in. And then when he
Mhm.
did come back from international duty, he didn't have a preseason basically.
Yeah,
So yeah,
right.
it's just been all over the place for him. And now he's hopefully from here onwards he should be able to settle and build a routine again because it's been a bit chaotic looking from the outside in anyways. Sib saying, do you think the criticism on Walton so far has been harsh or uncalled for? Um, maybe it's been a bit harsh because even in first half, even I was critical, not massively critical, but I was saying second half he played better than first half. But in the first half, he still put some nice passes through to Mitchell. So yeah, maybe we are overlooking. But then again, he's had an injury as well. So yeah, you could say it's been a bit harsh. Andy's saying, is it wise, as much as they need a rest, messing with our wing back when our back three haven't got it right yet? Yeah, we've kind of had that debate as well
Yeah,
and discussion, and I wouldn't really change as much, especially with the wing backs. Try build that chemistry with the defense. Hopefully, Lacroix and Gay starts in this game as well. But look, people, sorry, there's a lot of questions, but we do have to wrap up. If you have enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe. Really appreciate you all. If you do have any questions that you want answered, put them in the comment section down below after we do finish the stream. It is a bit earlier than usual, so if you're watching on replay, let us know your thoughts and get involved in the discussion, as I said, in the comment section down below. And this week, we might be doing it a bit early because there isn't much to talk about. So if there's one odd thing, we might go on a bit early and see how that goes. But if you have enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, up the pace. Oh, before I go, QPR match preview, click on the link. It's right pinned there. So click on that link if you haven't already done so and watch the match preview where we speak about the game in more detail. But that's it for now. Bye.
up it.